Hi, my name is Pippi, and this is my project for professional identity in nursing. So, this is my dad, and he is the reason that I want to become a nurse. So, a little background story. Before I was even born, my dad was diagnosed with lupus, which is a rare autoimmune disease, and there is no cure for it. Growing up, it was not out of the ordinary for him to be hospitalized or have some sort of operation. He was, for the most part, healthy, but he did have the occasional problem. This never stopped him from being a great dad, and I never thought of him any less growing up. He was always just his goofy and bubbly self. It was not until about 2011 when things started to deteriorate. His body had begun attacking his kidneys, causing them to fail. Eventually, he got an organ donor. Her name was Nadia, and she was once a complete stranger, but now was somebody who was saving a life. The surgery went well, and my dad was healthy until 2015 when his kidneys started to fail again, as well as many other parts of his body. Visiting my dad and just slowly seeing his spark go out was the hardest part for me. But in those dark times, there was a shining light, and that hope was that of the nurses that were caring for him. And I remember looking up to them for how kind and compassionate they were. They would talk to me, make me laugh, and they took time to comfort me when I needed it. They probably did not even realize, but in those small moments, they changed my life, and I wish that I could thank them now. All I knew after my dad passed away was that I couldn't wait to be that kind of person for someone else someday and be a light for those who are suffering and do everything for those types of patients. And yeah, that's why I'm here today. And that's why I have a passion for the nursing profession. This major life event that I had shaped me into who I am. And it definitely will influence who I'll become in my career. So, a foundational value that resonates with me and my story is compassion. Compassion was demonstrated to me by the nurses who made efforts to comfort me and who genuinely were just so empathetic and took amazing care of my dad. They built trustworthy relationships with my family. And yeah, so my personal experience reminds me of the work of Virginia Henderson. She's also known as the First Lady of Nursing. Her description, which I love, is temporarily the consciousness of the unconscious, the love of life for the suicidal, the leg of the amputee, the eyes of the newly blind, a means locomotion for the infant, the knowledge and confidence of a young mother, and a voice for those too weak to speak. And that is from the Impact of Nursing Methodology training sessions on completion of the Virginia Henderson Assessment Record. So I admire her philosophy and I hope to embody her vision as a nurse to care and advocate for each patient, going above and beyond and just being a support for their loved ones as well. I aspire to be the calm and hopeful presence for everyone that I encounter, and I hope to touch their lives unknowingly, just as had been done to me. And this historical figure illustrates that nursing is way more than just a profession. It is deeply rooted in humility and compassion. The first attribute I hope to embody is integrity. I always want to hold myself accountable and to be honest in every aspect of my career. I would also like to uphold social responsibility, acknowledge that my role is beyond individual care, that it promotes wellness for communities as a whole. And lastly, I want to commit myself to lifelong learning, to be motivated, and to continually educate myself to provide the best care for all my patients. A nursing theory that I can relate my own learning development to is Hildegard Paplow's interpersonal relations theory. This theory claims that the nurse-patient relationship is the foundation of the nursing practice itself. According to Haggerty and colleagues, Paplow's theory can be applied to patient experience, and there are three phases involved in developing nurse-patient relationships, and the challenges associated with each phase are reviewed with focus on interpersonal competencies. So, when my father was hospitalized, the nurses not only performed their clinical tasks, but also built relationships with my family and I and walked through every aspect of his care with us. And this accurately reflects Pablo's theory that communication and collaboration are key for healing, and it also aligns with my values of integrity and social responsibility. So, a fun little nursing specialty that I was looking into was flight nursing. I think it would be so awesome and exciting to do that for a living. A novice nurse should know that this specialty requires experience of at least 3 years working in either critical care or in the ER. It involves expertise in ventilator management, trauma emergencies, with an understanding in the transport physiology and aviation safety. Flight nurses should develop their critical thinking skills as well as airway management, triage, and effective communication. It involves a variety of populations and challenges, such as working in a confined space and having limited access to resources. It is a very stressful environment with high mortality circumstances. This profession demands resilience. Beyond obtaining an RN licensure, a CCRN or CEN, a flight nurse will need certifications in basic life support, advanced cardiac life support, pediatric advanced life support, neonatal resuscitation program, trauma nursing core course, or emergency nursing pediatric course. And finally, after all of that, obtaining your certification in flight registered nursing licensure. All of these licenses are obtained through training modules, skill classes, written exams, or a combination of those. That's according to Raymer and Moore's flight nurse expertise. Flight experience is recommended, but it is not required, and remaining physically active is important, as you can imagine, and it is recommended for an ongoing career. Air and Surface Transport Nurses Association is the largest professional organization that is dedicated to the flight nurse specialty and its mission. It was founded in 1985 and it provides support to flight nurses in transport and critical care environments. The ASTNA mission is to advance the practice of transport nursing and enhance the quality of patient care through safety, education, advocacy, and collaboration. This is from the Transport Nurse Safety Practices, Perceptions, and Experiences by Frakes, Pye, and Stocking. So the goal that I have, my goals and values definitely align with flight nursing specialty. I believe that my resilience, my ability to adapt and work well with others will set me up to perform well in these sort of high pressure situations. Flight nurses not only require critical thinking and advanced skills, but it needs support in the unpredictable, and having compassion for those high risk patients and building trust with them in their worst moment will promote their healing just as much as clinical skills would. Sitting in on that compassion will drive me farther my education to eventually reach my goals. And as mentioned earlier, there are many certifications that I would need to become a flight nurse. Therefore, I will keep going back to my whys to push me farther in my career. I have a goal to obtain my CCRN certification and work in critical care for the start of my career so that I can gain the appropriate knowledge and skills that I need to eventually acquire my CFRN license within 5 years. These goals will reflect my commitment to excellence in critical care and embody hope in a time of disaster. Some social factors that could potentially impact my growth and learning would be getting complacent due to the fear of failure. I feel like that's pretty common. I say this because, what if I'm working in critical care and I decide that I'm not destined for anything more and that, I'd be more prone to make mistakes after being so comfortable for so long. This would cause me to hesitate and to challenge myself and to get further certifications and a new license. I can overcome this fear though by continuing to remind myself that change is beneficial and that I am very capable of doing hard things. I need to not focus on the fear of beginning, but the pride that will result in the end. I need to envision the success and to not let the fear of trying stop me from becoming the best nurse that I can be. So here are my sources, and thank you so much for listening.